Okay, let's unpack this. Imagine for a moment a digital asset you hold today could, maybe in the not-so-distant future, transform into actual shares. Like shares of a company listed on a major global stock exchange. Think Hong Kong, maybe even NASDAQ. Sounds like something pulled straight from a futuristic financial thriller, right?
It really does. A bit sci-fi almost.
Well, that's precisely the, let's say, ambitious concept at the core of what we're deep diving into today. AIFEX. Our sources for this deep dive suggest AIFE isn't just, another digital coin hitting the market. It's presented as something more fundamental, a new financial system, they claim.
Aiming to bridge that gap between the decentralized world of crypto and, well, traditional stock markets, equity markets.
Exactly. So our mission today is to help you cut through the noise, understand its core mechanics, at least as they're outlined in the documents we've reviewed, and explore its, frankly, very ambitious future plans.
Yeah.
And we want to keep it crystal clear for you, our listener.
Absolutely. And what's truly fascinating here, looking at it strategically, is how AIFX positions itself. It's trying to be quite distinct within this, rapidly evolving digital asset landscape. We'll be distilling the key information from the documents provided, trying to understand not just what AIFX claims to be, but how it proposes to actually execute its vision.
And why its proponents think it holds such significant potential, right?
Precisely why they believe in it. And we'll aim to make even the most detailed parts easy to grasp, so you can walk away well-informed, really equipped to think strategically about these kinds of new financial models.
Okay, so let's get into the nuts and bolts then. According to the sources we have, AIFEX is structured around three main pillars. They're designed to work together in synergy to generate value. What are these foundational components?
Right, the documentation describes this sort of tripartite system. First, there's a strong emphasis on an AI component.
AI, always a buzzword.
It is, but they try to give it substance here. The sources detail it as an AI-driven trading mechanism. It's designed to actively assist with buying and selling assets. The goal: to generate consistent profits from market movements. The idea is that this AI acts as the primary engine for profit generation within the system.
So theoretically, the user doesn't need to do any manual trading.
That's the claim. It removes that need from the end user.
That immediately raises a question, though. For anyone familiar with markets,
Right.
What kind of strategies? I mean, is this high-frequency trading, arbitrage, something else? Claiming consistent profit from AIs, oh, it's bold.
It is bold. The sources hint it's geared towards capturing small, consistent gains across various markets, which does suggest strategies like maybe algorithmic arbitrage or sophisticated HFT, leveraging tiny price differences. Now, the specifics of the algorithms aren't fully laid out, obviously, but the claim is that this active intelligent layer provides a real money-making system supporting AIFX.
Which they use to differentiate it from purely speculative tokens.
Exactly. That's a crucial distinction they draw. It implies a strategic move to create inherent value, something beyond just market hype.
Okay, so a sophisticated AI for active profit generation is pillar one. What about the second?
The second pillar integrates decentralized finance, or DeFi. The sources claim this offers daily returns on deposited funds, so it effectively allows users to stake their assets within a decentralized framework. It's not just passive holding, it positions AIFEX within that broader DeFi world.
Which emphasizes transparency, user control, smart contracts, that sort of thing.
Right, and the stated daily returns highlight a focus on continuous value distribution. That's a powerful incentive in the DeFi space, as you know.
And then, the third pillar, this is the one that seems to really catch the eye, a staking protocol. The information asserts this provides an average return of up to 1.5% per day. For our listeners who understand the typical risk-reward here, 1.5% daily, that's an exceptionally powerful claim. It definitely grabs attention.
It really does.
But it also raises immediate questions, doesn't it? About sustainability, the underlying mechanisms.
You're absolutely right to flag that figure. For anyone familiar with DeFi yields or even traditional finance, a consistent 1.5% daily return is, well, it's incredibly high. Most protocols, traditional or DeFi, rarely promise that, let alone deliver it consistently without significant volatility or very high-risk strategies or some complex economic model backing it up.
So the sources present it as a clear benefit.
Yes, but a strategic analysis would immediately ask, how? How are such returns consistently generated and sustained? What are the inherent risks? It suggests either a very aggressive or a remarkably efficient underlying profit engine.
Which is key to its purported distinctiveness.
Precisely.
Right.
It has to be to support that kind of return.
So if we connect this to the bigger picture, The sources really try to hammer home how AIFEX differentiates itself from, your typical digital coin. Beyond those three pillars, what else makes it stand out in such a crowded market?
That's the key question for anyone thinking about participating, isn't it? What really makes it different? The documents highlight several things. First, as we discussed, that claimed unique combination, staking plus the AI for profit generation. This is presented as setting it apart from many coins that, as the sources argue, often lack real, active money-making systems.
Relying purely on market demand and speculation for value.
Right. So the claim here is it's not just speculative. It has an active, integrated engine supposedly generating value. That's a significant claim for any crypto project.
It really is. What else?
Furthermore, the sources state it's auditable on the blockchain. This implies key metrics, transaction flows, maybe even AI performance data are transparently recorded, verifiable by anyone.
Okay, so a nod towards transparency.
A significant one, potentially. Offering a degree of trust through that transparency, going beyond typical private financial entities. And then there's the big one, the ambitious long-term goal. It explicitly outlines a clear plan for an initial public offering, an IPO, on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange, no less.
An IPO. Wow. That is concrete and ambitious. It sets it apart from most digital assets that don't have that clear path to traditional markets.
Vastly apart.
But hold on, given the regulatory hurdles for digital assets, bridging from a coin to a traditional stock listing, especially somewhere like Hong Kong or NASDAQ, that's a massive undertaking. How do the sources address that?
It absolutely is a huge undertaking, and this is where the strategic vision really gets tested, you could say. Now, the documents don't go into super granular detail on every single regulatory step. That would be unusual at this stage, but they present this IPO as foundational, part of their core roadmap. It indicates they are, or claim to be, actively working towards meeting those stringent requirements. Just outlining such a public IPO plan signals intent.
An intent to comply with traditional financial regulations eventually.
Yeah.
Become a recognized corporate entity.
Exactly. It's crucial to their narrative of long-term viability and legitimacy compared to projects staying purely digital. The sources also mention returns are visible daily. That seems like a strategic choice, too. Building user confidence, engagement, giving that tangible feedback.
Unlike simpler contracts where you just hold and hope, basically. Wait and sell yourself.
Precisely.
There's a powerful line in the source material that really seems to encapsulate their philosophy. It sort of shifts the paradigm for digital asset holders. It says, this is the only coin where you don't bet on the price, but on when you'll get shares. That's quite a statement. It reframes the whole idea of holding a digital asset.
It truly is a potent line. It frames that long-term vision, the potential strategic value, suggesting a shift away from pure price speculation so common in crypto towards a more traditional equity-based value proposition. It positions the AIFEX coin almost as a placeholder, a future equity claim, not just a volatile thing to trade.
Aligning directly with that ambitious IPO plan.
Absolutely. Clearly designed to attract investors with a longer-term value creation mindset, not just short-term traders.
Okay, so here's where it gets really interesting for the everyday person listening. How does one actually engage with AIFEX? The sources describe the mechanism as remarkably straightforward, even for newcomers. They've clearly tried to simplify the user experience, make it accessible.
And that simplification itself is a strategic play, isn't it? Lowering the barrier to entry. Essential for wider adoption if you're aiming to be a new financial system. The process, as described, is quite hands-off. Essentially, you just stake your money, deposit your funds.
And then the system takes over.
Yes. The AIFEX AI system supposedly takes over, manages those funds, and the stated returns are automatically credited daily. That's the description. The sources really emphasize you don't need to trade yourself. You aren't required to recruit others.
So distancing itself from MLM-type structures sometimes seen in crypto.
It seems so. It emphasizes a passive engagement model for the user, removing the complexities of active trading or network building that can definitely deter people.
So it's designed as a kind of set-it-and-forget-it model, where the value is supposedly derived from the underlying operations, the AI, the DeFi, rather than needing constant user action or promotion.
That's the presentation. A very different approach from many crypto projects. It suggests a focus on creating a system where value is generated internally.
A compelling proposition for those seeking passive income, assuming the mechanisms work as described.
If the claims hold, yes.
Now, what's truly fascinating here, and arguably the most significant long-term vision presented, is that declared goal of taking the company public. This is where that initial idea about shares really comes into focus.
It is indeed the centerpiece of the long-term strategy. The core objective, clearly stated in the documents, lists the company on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange. And they even mention NASDAQ as an aspiration.
Which is monumental. It signals that intent to bridge the gap between this nascent digital asset space and established global finance.
It's a strategic move aimed squarely at legitimizing the project within traditional finance. A huge step if they can pull it off.
And crucially, the sources explicitly state that those who stake AIFEX coins today will have the right to convert those coins into company shares once the company successfully lists. So your digital asset could literally become a piece of a publicly traded company. That's the promise.
A proposed pathway for digital asset holders to gain direct equity ownership. That's genuinely unique in the crypto space right now.
And how do they describe the process post-listing?
This is where AIFEX seeks to differentiate itself most profoundly, I think. It's not just holding a coin, you're holding a potential future share. The documents describe the post-listing process. Once listed, it includes first the return of your initial staked principal, your initial money back.
Okay.
Then the release of any outstanding interest or returns that have accumulated.
Right.
And then the beginning of dividend payments, which they claim will be derived from the company's actual business profits.
So dividends like a regular stock.
That's the model presented. The fundamental concept they're communicating is hold these coins today, and one day they transform into shares in your portfolio, potentially bypassing the need to buy on the traditional stock market after the IPO.
It's a bold strategic move, offering a direct conversion path, digital asset to equity, a very clear long-term vision for participants.
Extremely clear.
So why now? Why does the source material suggest that now is the optimal time to engage with AIFEX? They give several reasons, basically framing this as a window of opportunity.
Yes, and from a strategic viewpoint, these reasons are all about incentivizing early adoption, getting people in before it potentially hits the mainstream.
What's the first reason?
First, they emphasize this is the pre-IPO phase. This is presented as the chance to secure potentially better terms, positioning early stakers almost like initial investors.
The classic get-in-early argument, which in traditional finance can sometimes mean better pricing or access unavailable later.
Exactly. Securing a position before the potential rush if the IPO happens and is successful.
Okay, get in before the crowd. What's the second reason?
Second, stakers would still receive those claimed daily returns during this pre-IPO period.
Ah, so you're not just waiting for the long-term IPO.
Correct. This is a smart strategy, really. It provides a tangible, short-term incentive, those high daily returns, balancing the long-term vision with some immediate gratification. It helps manage expectations, keep people engaged while the bigger plan unfolds.
That dual benefit future potential plus immediate returns sounds appealing, at least on paper. What about price advantage? Is that mentioned?
Third, yes. They suggest there's a potential price advantage. The coin's price, they argue, might not yet be as high as it could become once it gains mainstream attention or once the IPO plans become more widely known and progress.
So the idea of buying low.
Basically, yes. The classic investment principle. For assets in these early stages, there's always potential for significant appreciation if the vision is realized and gains market acceptance. The document links this potential directly to being pre-mainstream adoption.
Implying early entry could mean getting the asset at a lower valuation compared to its potential future market price.
That's a suggestion.
And finally, just the simple advantage of being among the first mover advantage.
Indeed, that concept of first mover advantage is always powerful in new tech and finance. It can imply, a certain status, potential for early network effects, maybe access to benefits later entrants don't get. So the combined force of these 4 points, pre-IPO terms, ongoing daily returns, potential price advantage, first mover status forms a clear strategic narrative. It's why, from AIFEX's perspective, this moment is opportune for engagement.
Aiming to attract those looking for early-stage opportunities with potentially significant claimed upside.
Exactly that.
So what does this all mean for you, our listener? Wrapping this up from our deep dive into the AIFEX sources, the core takeaways really revolve around that incredibly ambitious vision, converting a digital coin into future company shares. It's about their claimed mechanism leveraging AI and DeFi to generate those eye-catching daily returns, a claim that certainly demands scrutiny, but it's central to their pitch. And of course, their very clear, very public plan for listing. Hong Kong Stock Exchange, NASDAQ aspirations. It's an intriguing undeniably bold proposition presented by AIFEX.
It really is, and it raises a broader, important question for all of us, I think. In a financial landscape that is just constantly evolving, new tech, new ideas about owning assets popping up all the time, how might this kind of strategic approach, literally trying to turn a digital asset into a traditional equity stake, how might that reshape our understanding of early-stage investment, of wealth creation? It certainly prompts you to consider the potential for innovative pathways beyond conventional financial instruments, perhaps. For those looking to engage with whatever the next wave of economic opportunity might be, it's a vision that tries to bridge two very distinct financial worlds, doesn't it? Aiming, maybe, to capture the best of both. A fascinating concept to watch.